I've never had particularly strong feelings about Disney's live-action remakes, except for Cinderella and Maleficent, which I genuinely loved, but to my surprise and contrary to popular opinion, I was actually excited for the Snow White live-action adaptation. Why? For two reasons. First, I've always loved Snow White, it raised me, and second, this film is the foundation of Disney's legacy. With a project this significant, I never imagined they could get it wrong. Yet, watching Disney struggle to bring this story to life has been, at the very least, amusing. One thing remains certain though, Snow White will always evoke strong emotions, it's either really loved, it builds an entire empire and sets an entire new form of art in motion, or really hated and holds the title for YouTube's most disliked trailer as of recording this video. For this video, I want to explore Snow White's visual identity, the artistic styles that may have inspired its look. And a quick side note, before Disney got their hands on the story, Snow White already had a distinct look and its own aesthetic. Various art styles were used to shape the story, making it quite difficult to pinpoint the exact artistic influences that shaped the film and which artists to credit. So there are a lot of seems, mights, and perhaps when tracing its artistic origins. But to truly appreciate its beauty, we first need to understand the era in which it was created. Released in 1937, the film emerged during a time when audiences sought escapism from the harsh realities of the Great Depression. Art and entertainment of the era often leaned into fantasy, beauty, and heightened emotion, seen in movements like Art Deco, Surrealism, Hollywood's Golden Age, early comic books, and pulp fiction. Walt Disney's vision went beyond technical innovation. He aimed to make Snow White feel truly cinematic and emotionally immersive. His goal was to elevate animation into a respected art form, evoking strong emotions, transporting audiences into fairy tale worlds, and bringing characters to life with depth and personality. But how did he envision its look? Disney gathered a team of exceptionally skilled artists. For the concept art, credits go to Albert Hatter, a Swiss illustrator, credited as the primary artistic force behind Snow White's visual style. Hatter's imaginative, detailed sketches infused the film with a unique charm, blending beauty, humor, and a touch of the grotesque, shaping the film's storybook yet faintly unsettling aesthetic. Gustaf Tenggren, a Swedish illustrator who brought a storybook European fairy tale aesthetic to the film, influencing backgrounds, lighting, and character designs. His dark atmospheric style shaped the haunted forest and the Queen's castle. Ferdinand Horvath, a Hungarian-American artist who contributed early concept art, particularly for the Queen, the Little Men, and the film's gothic elements. Joe Grant designed the evil queen and the disguised old woman, refining her look into the iconic, angular, and dramatic character seen in the final film. And for the backgrounds and layouts, we had Maurice Day, who helped develop the film's naturalistic forest settings, sketching real-life trees and landscapes to make the backgrounds feel authentic, and Samuel Armstrong, who oversaw background paintings and color design, ensuring the rich painterly quality of the landscapes and settings. The backgrounds in the film are richly detailed, painterly, and atmospheric. The forest is dense and layered, shifting from dark and twisted to soft and inviting. The Queen's castle is grand yet cold, with towering arches, deep shadows, and an imposing presence. In contrast, the cottage is warm and rustic, filled with handcrafted wooden details, cozy lighting, and charm. Throughout the film, colors shift dramatically. Cool, muted tones enhance mystery and danger, while warm golden hues create safety and comfort. The result is an immersive world that blends realism with a fairy tale dreaminess. And this visual style draws heavily from the golden age of illustration, a period when illustrated books and prints brought fairy tales to life with intricate details, rich textures, and dreamlike compositions. Artists like Arthur Rackham, Kay Nielsen, and Gustaf Tenggren were masters of the style, using soft color palettes, flowing organic shapes, and dramatic contrast of light and shadow to create immersive magical worlds. Their delicate line work and painterly washes of color struck a balance between realism and stylization, giving their work an ethereal, timeless quality. Disney's animators infused these same qualities into the film's backgrounds and visual storytelling. The enchanted forest echoes Rackham's signature twisting trees and eerie lighting, where gnarled branches create a sense of both wonder and foreboding. The Queen's Castle, with its towering spires and dark corridors, channels Nielsen's grand theatrical compositions, where architecture feels both majestic and ominous. Above all, Gustaf Tenggren's influence was the strongest. His watercolors shaped the film's misty forests, dramatic lighting, and intricate details, particularly in the cozy cottage. His work helped bridge the gap between European fairy tale illustration and Hollywood animation. A defining characteristic of Golden Age illustration was its ability to make fantasy feel tangible yet otherworldly. Illustrators achieved this by combining painterly backgrounds with finely detailed characters, a technique Snow White adopted to great effect. Though not often noted, symbolist art likely influenced the film's mood and surreal touches. I find Snow White deeply symbolic and metaphorical, something Disney itself seems to overlook, which in my opinion is one of the many reasons the live-action adaptation struggles. Symbolism, emerging in the late 19th century, was characterized by mysticism, dreamlike imagery, and hidden meanings. Artists like Gustave Moreau and Odilon Redon used shadow, light, and symbolic objects to evoke deep emotions, subconscious fears, and universal truths. Their influence can be felt in the film's use of visual storytelling, where objects carry meaning beyond their physical form. The magical mirror isn't just reflective, it represents self-obsession, fate, and inescapable truth, much like mirrors and veiled figures in symbolist paintings. The poisoned apple, with its unnaturally vivid red glow, symbolizes deception, temptation, and mortality, echoing symbolist works where fruit, flowers, or jewels convey life and death. The film's visual language also mirrors symbolism's contrast between beauty and darkness. The Queen, draped in deep purples and black, is an elegant yet corrupt figure. Her sinister presence, heightened by dramatic lighting and sharp angles, is reminiscent of symbolist femme fatales. In contrast, Snow White, bathed in soft light and surrounded by lush, almost surreal landscapes, appears to be existing in a dreamlike realm of innocence. What I love about this film is its ability to evoke a range of interpretations, all of which feel valid. On the surface, it explores the timeless battle between good and evil, as well as the dangers of corruption and greed. On a deeper level, it emphasizes the importance of staying grounded and surrounded by loved ones during difficult times. The film also lends itself to broader discussions, such as the portrayal of older women in cinema. While it didn't originate the trope of the aging female villain, it remains part of the conversation. One could even argue that the film challenges misogyny by depicting older women in positions of power. Additionally, it offers a compelling reflection on the obsession with youth and beauty, a theme that remains strikingly relevant today. I wasn't expecting Snow White to be girl-bossified, but I also wasn't sure exactly what I was expecting. Perhaps something more creative, more intentional. There's nothing wrong with portraying Snow White as a strong and independent lady, but in my opinion, she already was. Demonstrating kindness and compassion in the face of adversity is not easy, and it's a quality that has long been undervalued. And Disney has reimagined this story so many times, and the direction they're taking feels somewhat dismissive of the original's nuance. But back to the visuals. Equally significant was the lingering legacy of 19th century European art, particularly the Romantic tradition, a movement that embraced emotion, imagination, and the sublime. It rejected the rigid structure of the Enlightenment in favor of imagination, deep sentiment, and natural beauty. While not directly referenced, the film reflects romantic ideals in its emphasis on wonder and expressive storytelling. The eerie, twisted trees of the dark forest and the sunlit meadows of the cottage serve as emotional landscapes, reflecting Snow White's journey, much like romantic paintings used nature to evoke deeper meaning. The narrative also aligns with romantic sensibilities, exploring themes of innocence, exile, and redemption. Snow White embodies purity and virtue, while the Queen's vanity and downfall echo the tragic figures of romantic art and literature. The film's heightened emotions, dramatic contrast, and dreamlike atmosphere all reinforce its fairy tale quality, making it feel both timeless and deeply evocative. Architecture also plays a role in shaping the film's visual language, emphasizing themes of power, isolation, and warmth. The Queen's towering, shadowed castle reflects her cold authority, while the quaint, sunlit cottage embodies safety and simplicity, reinforcing their opposing worlds. The Queen's castle draws heavily from Gothic revival architecture, a 19th century movement that revived the grandeur and mystery of medieval Gothic structures. Its towering spires, pointed arches, and massive stone walls exude cold authority, mimicking the Queen's aloof, domineering presence. High vaulted ceilings and elongated windows lend a cathedral-like aura, reinforcing her divine yet sinister self-image. The throne room, bathed in deep shadows and harsh lighting, amplifies her dramatic nature, creating a setting both regal and ominous. Adding to its eerie quality, the castle's dungeon and alchemy chamber seems inspired by. In sharp contrast, the cottage embraces a pastoral, handcrafted aesthetic reminiscent of Romanticism and cottagecore ideals. Its low, sloping roof, rounded wooden beams, and intricate carvings give it a welcoming storybook charm, the interior filled with ornately carved furniture, oversized fireplaces, and cozy nooks feel handmade and deeply personal, reflecting the little man's humble, industrious nature. Unlike the Queen's vast, isolating castle, the cottage fosters closeness, warmth, emphasizing its role as a safe haven for Snow White. And for its characters, Romanticism and Art Nouveau heavily influenced the film's artistic approach, particularly the portrayal of its central characters. The film's artistic choices blend the soft elegance of romantic portraiture with the flowing decorative qualities of Art Nouveau, creating a timeless and visually enchanting heroine. Romantic portraiture idealized its subjects, portraying them with delicate features, flowing hair, and luminous skin to evoke innocence and purity. Franz Winterhalter, known for his portraits of European royalty, captured grace and dreamlike beauty, qualities imitated in Snow White's gentle expression, soft curls, and effortless movements, embodying the ethereal charm of romantic art. Alongside Romanticism, Art Nouveau's influence is equally evident in Snow White's design. Emerging in the late 19th century, Art Nouveau was characterized by flowing organic lines, intricate detailing, and a deep connection to nature, drawing inspiration from plants, flowers, and human form. Snow White's graceful silhouette, stylized hair, and dress reflect this aesthetic, echoing the work of Alphonse Mucha, whose figures were often surrounded by swirling patterns and delicate embellishments. The enchanted forest surrounding Snow White further reinforces Art Nouveau's fascination with nature, making the landscape feel alive, almost as if it were a natural extension of the heroine herself. The Evil Queen is a striking blend of German Expressionism, theatrical aesthetics, and early Hollywood glamour, making her one of animation's most visually compelling villains. Her presence is imposing, elegant, and chilling, drawing from silent film actresses, dramatic lighting techniques, and stage-inspired costume design. German Expressionism, a movement from the 1910s and 1920s, was known for high contrast lighting, sharp angular forms, and exaggerated emotional expressions. Films like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and Nosferatu used elongated shadows, stark lighting, and distorted architecture to evoke unease, techniques later adopted by Hollywood horror and suspense films. The Queen's Castle reflects this influence, with towering arches, jagged staircases, and eerie shadows that create a sense of cold, oppressive grandeur. The Queen herself embodies these expressionist aesthetics, with high cheekbones, severe facial structures, her eyebrows and lips, and a sharply defined costume, reinforcing her menace. Her costume reflects theatrical traditions, particularly in its strong angular shapes and dramatic contrasts. The high collar, flowing cape, and black and purple palette resembles the stage costumes of opera and classical theater, heightening her commanding presence. The most expressionist moment in the film is the Queen's transformation. This sequence features distorted perspectives, flashing lightning, and exaggerated movements reminiscent of early horror films. As she hunches and twists beneath her cloak, her physicality mirrors expressionist actors who externalized inner torment through exaggerated body language. Also, it reminds me of The Scream. The design of the little men blends caricature, folk art, and theatrical comedy. Their rounded forms, exaggerated expressions, and distinct silhouettes make them instantly recognizable, complementing their individual personalities and playful charm. Caricature, the art of exaggerating features for comic or expressive effect, plays a role in their designs. They have expressive eyes and body movements, making them feel whimsical and approachable. Disney's team drew inspiration from storybook illustrators, whose fairy tale illustrations depicted gnomes and elves with exaggerated playful forms. Their costumes, movements, and home reflect the aesthetic of European folk art, particularly German and Scandinavian wood carvings. Folk art, known for its handmade rustic charm, often features bold shapes, strong outlines, and exaggerated proportions, much like the little men themselves. This handcrafted aesthetic extends to their cozy storybook-like cottage, which features carved wooden furniture, intricate carvings, and charming decorative details reminiscent of Bavarian and Black Forest woodcraft. A major influence on the Little Man's animation and characterization was vaudeville, a popular theatrical form known for slapstick humor, exaggerated gestures, and comedic timing. Vaudeville performers relied on physicality and expression rather than dialogue. Also, Disney's animators studied silent film comedians like Charlie Chaplin and Marx Brothers to capture the film's comedic energy. This film is a blend of various artistic influences, some I'm sure I haven't even mentioned. Reminder, this video might not be 100% accurate. I underestimated how challenging it would be to trace them all. That said, Snow White is not a perfect film. It has its flaws. If Disney could, he would likely redo this story, which in a way he did with Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, both sharing similar plotlines but with distinct artistic styles. But that doesn't take away from Snow White's beauty. I still find it breathtaking. My favorite scenes are the forest sequence and the Queen's transformation. They're terrifying yet exciting. I have deep fascination with Expressionism, which is why I was especially intrigued by the live-action adaptation. What are your favorite scenes from Snow White? Do you think the live-action adaptation will capture the same artistic magic, or will it miss the mark? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you in the next one.